We are halfway through the year of 2023, so it is time for me to talk about my 10 best 4K Ultra HD releases of the year. I'm excited. Let's go. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and today, guys, we are here to talk about my top 10 4K releases of 2023. That's right, we are halfway through the year, so I wanted to make sure to do this list. We're at the halfway mark. We've already gotten so many incredible releases. This was an extremely hard list to make. I actually did one in the first 3 months of the year. I wanted to try to do one every single quarter. I don't know if I'll do the 9-month mark or not. I might just wait till the end of the year. But I wanted to make sure that I did the halfway point. Before we get into it, like, comment, subscribe. We talk about physical media on this channel every single day. So if you like that kind of thing, hit the subscribe button. And then, turn on the bell notifications for all future videos. Like I said, we've got a lot of 4K, incredible 4K releases coming before the end of the year. I just know it, and I'm going to try to review and talk about as many of those as I possibly can. So one thing to note here is I've already reviewed The Truman Show on 4K. I reviewed Jaws on 4K. Those will not be included in this top 10 or even honorable mentions. They're not eligible because they're July releases. I'll also say that I know that there's probably some really strong new movie discs that were probably really great. Some superhero movies, Marvel movies, the Avatar movies. I'm sure there were John Wick, I heard incredible things about. I haven't watched a lot of those. Some animated movies I've heard incredible things about. I just don't put as much stock in the newer movies. You kind of just expect those to look great, right? When they come out on 4K. These are primarily, in fact, I think that every single one of these are restorations. I do have one newer movie in this batch, but most of these are older films that were restored in 4K. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. I've been wasting enough of your time. I don't want this video to run like 30, 40 minutes. I tend to be extremely long-winded, so I'll try to get to the point on most of these. But let me throw out some honorable mentions. There was just so much to talk about. Flashdance, this one really surprised me. This was far better than I anticipated it being. Paramount was responsible for this, so I was thinking that they might half-ass it a little bit and give us another Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But no, this is actually an incredible 4K. I thought it looked great, great facial detail. I thought the HDR just really stood out in this movie in particular, and it looked great. Jennifer Beals looked great in 4K for sure. That was a great disc. Primal Rage, I think this was in my top 5 when I did the 3-month mark. But I still really enjoy this. I thought it looked really good on 4K, but this has some incredible special features. I'm loving what Vinegar Syndrome's doing. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun with this movie. It was a cool release. There was an entire hour-and-a-half documentary talking about the making of this movie. And I don't know about you guys, but even when you watch a movie that's not traditionally good, when you watch the documentary on the making of it, it makes you appreciate it a lot more. So when I came out of watching the documentary, I was like, I kind of like that movie a lot more than I did when I got done watching it. But yeah, just a great release by Vinegar Syndrome. If you all haven't gotten into Vinegar Syndrome, yes, they don't always put out the best movies, but their 4Ks are just top tier. We'll talk about Vinegar Syndrome again here in this video. But yeah, that's a definite recommendation if you haven't picked that up yet. The Rockies, look, they didn't look as great as I wanted them to. All of them, I think the first one definitely looked the best, but it's Rocky, it's 4K, and I just love Rocky. I was so excited for this release, so that's definitely in my honorable mentions. Also, Dawn of the Dead from Scream Factory was definitely an early contender for one of the best discs of the year. I thought Scream Factory did a great job with the restoration here. It looked freaking awesome. I thought Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, looked incredible in 4K. And then I'll also throw out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Second Sight release. I thought the Dark Sky looked good as well. And I'm not saying this was an incredible 4K restoration. They did about as good a job as they probably could with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Just a very gritty, grungy film that it doesn't really lend itself to a really great 4K restoration in my opinion. But Second Sight really did some great work here. There's some great features, and this is just, I just had to include this. The box set is so beautiful, so that's an honorable mention as well. All right, let's jump into it, guys. It's time for the top 10 4K releases of 2023 so far. This is my list, and I don't care what you guys say. It's the correct list, okay? Just remember that. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. All right, let's get in. My number 10. This is a Scream Factory title. This is a Scream Factory title coming in at my number 10. I was very impressed with this movie on 4K, and that is The People Under the Stairs. So I went back and I watched my Blu-ray of this, and the Blu-ray pales in comparison to what Scream Factory did with the 4K restoration here. I thought this looked freaking immaculate. Like, this reminded me of watching a new movie. Like, it looked that damn good. Like, I watched The People Under the Stairs on VHS tape when I was a kid. I noticed things in this movie watching it this time in that house, just some of the details that I couldn't make out in the dark when I was a kid on VHS, that just really stood out to me. And I was like, I am noticing things in this movie that I have never noticed before. And this movie just really stood out as one of the best that I've seen all year, because I just watched it so many times when I was a kid. A lot of these, you know, well, not a lot of them, but some of them are first time watches for me. So when I'm watching it for the first time, I'm not really picking stuff out that I missed on VHS or DVD back in the day. With this, I've seen it so many times, it was like watching it like in a whole new light, and it was just fantastic. There's also some great special features here. There's a new 4K scan on the Blu-ray in this as well. So it isn't, even the Blu-ray in this is an upgrade from the Blu-ray from Scream Factory from previous years. And yeah, great special features. None of them are new, but they're all great, and they're ported over from the previous release. So, and you can't beat that classic poster art with the skull ahead of the house. I think that looks excellent. So great stuff from Scream Factory. That is my number 10 of the year. So coming in at my number 9 is one that I didn't actually do a standalone review for. I just didn't get enough time to do it, but it is absolutely a standout 4K of 2023 so far. And that is Kino Lorber's Night of the Hunter, or The Night of the Hunter. What a great movie. Like, if you haven't seen this movie, it's from the 50s, but it's a dark thriller, almost horror movie in nature, but like, it's the performance by Robert Mitchum in this film is just absolutely brilliant. Like, he is so scary and terrifying in this movie. I love the direction that it goes in. I love where it goes by the time you get to the end of the movie. It starts one way and really has this kind of shift in the middle of it, which I think kind of keeps things fresh and interesting. But the 4K here, oh my God, I love black and white in 4K. Like, there's a couple black and white films here on my list, but I love black and white in 4K so much, and this just really popped with the black and white, and just the contrast levels between the blacks, between the whites, and just all of it. Like, I love black and white in 4K so much, and Kino Lorber just seems to have such a great handle on how to do a proper black and white 4K restoration. So I definitely love this movie. I love this release by Kino Lorber. Now, one thing I will say, there is a new audio commentary here, and there are some special features, but it does not have all of these special features that the Criterion disc had when it came out. So you will be missing some special features here. What I'm saying is, if you have that Criterion, keep it. You do get new stuff here, but you don't get all the old stuff that was available on that Criterion release. And there's also just the 4K here, and the special features are on the Blu-ray. So you don't get the movie on the Blu-ray because Criterion has the rights to that. But still a great disc. Like, Kino Lorber, just chef's kiss with their 4K transfers. They're always so great. So yeah, they did a great job of that. That's my number 9. Coming in at my number 8 is one I just watched and reviewed recently, and this movie was just made for 4K. Just the colors and just what the HDR did for this movie in 4K was just incredible. But Creepshow by Scream Factory is my number 8 4K release. I thought this looked amazing just all throughout. Like, this is a movie, again, from the 80s. This is from 1982. To have a movie like this, a horror movie like this, look as good as it does now in 2023, it's just amazing what they're doing with these restorations. And Creepshow is just a standout to me because of those colors, like all throughout the movie, that comic book kind of influence in the film, and just how it looks, and just the close-up images on that skeleton zombie thing in the beginning with the red light all over it. That looked incredible. To tide you over when the sea people come out and attack Leslie Nielsen at the end, that looked incredible. Stephen King, the meteor shit segment where he has the green stuff growing on him, that looked amazing. It's just this whole movie from beginning to end looked incredible. I saw it like I've never seen it before. And yes, the Blu-ray looks excellent. It really does. But this it adds that little extra to the picture quality that you need to just fully enjoy this movie for what it is. So Creepshow is fantastic, and I love this alternate artwork right here. So freaking good. That's my number 8. And we're kind of going back and forth between Scream Factory and Kino Lorber, but I gotta throw out 12 Angry Men on 4K from Kino Lorber. This movie, I'd never seen it. This was a first time watch. Blew me away. Instant 5 out of 5 for me. This is now one of my favorite movies that I've ever seen. One of my favorite one location movies. And I just love those type of movies anyway. So I love this movie. I thought it was extremely engrossing and captivating. I was just drawn to every character and every performance of this film. But this 4K, like, I don't know. And I know it's not like the flashiest, like, scenery wise, but it is in black and white. Like I said, in black and white 4K transfers just look excellent. But this movie has a ton of close-up like facial shots, and just everything looked great. And it's a hot room. It's like 100 degrees. Everybody's sweating. You can see every single bead of sweat going down people's faces. And yes, it's only one location, but that one location looked excellent. And yeah, just black and white in 4K with the contrast levels, the black and the white, it all looks great. Everything pops in this movie. And this movie, you'll see it like you've never seen it before. Like, I can't imagine like somebody that watched this movie back in the 50s getting to watch this movie in 4K now, if their eyesight's still good enough to really notice the difference. I'm sure it can, but like imagining watching this on VHS on a small TV back in the day versus now on a bigger TV in 4K, it's like night and day. Like, you're seeing these performances, you're seeing these subtle nuances in the faces of these performers, and it has to add something to it. So I think that the 4K of 12 Angry Men was excellent. It's a must own. And I gotta give Kino Lorber credit because they added in the remake directed by William Friedkin in here as a bonus feature. You have a whole movie as a bonus feature here, and a new audio commentary as well. So I like to include the bonus features and stuff. Like, we're not just talking about picture quality here. We're talking about, like, when I'm doing my top 10, we're also talking about, like, what are they adding in bonus features, the packaging. Like, I like to include the entire package when I'm trying to decide, like, what's better than the other. Because sometimes when it comes to, like, picture quality, it's like, that was so good, that was so good. Like, what really at the end of the day sets one release apart from the other, I try to break it down like in different ways in bonus features. Like, this one had that extra movie, so I put it above the Night of the Hunter, which honestly looked just as good on 4K as 12 Angry Men. So that's my number 7. Let's get in. We're in the top 6 now, guys, and I got to talk about The Nutty Professor. I thought this looked excellent in 4K. Paramount Presents is really doing some great stuff. This also has like 3 or 4 new special features. There's all kinds of like legacy archival special features in here as well. I just love the Paramount Presents line. I love the way it folds up and you have the poster. I think the artwork's freaking awesome. And this movie is so much fun. I just love it to death. Like, Jerry Lewis is so good as this character, these dueling characters. This Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde story is just so freaking awesome, and I just love it so much. But the picture quality here was just outstanding. Like, Paramount and what they're doing with the Paramount Presents line is just top tier right now. If they could just keep up with the bonus features and keep adding in like 3 or 4 new ones, like, they could be on that same level as a Criterion, as a Kino Lorber before no time. But yeah, just so excellent, guys. This picture quality was excellent. I feel like a lot of people were sleeping on this. I don't even think that I heard hardly anybody talking about this release, showing this off, but it's one of the best of the year. It is in my top 6. It's my number 6 of 2023. So what a great release, The Nutty Professor. And we're getting into my top 5, guys, and I think that this one was maybe my number 2 when I did it a few months ago. And that is From Beyond, from Vinegar Syndrome. This, talk about another movie that was just made for 4K. The movie's bathed in pinks and purples and, you know, the gore and the blood and the practical effects and the creature effects and all that. So just the slimy creatures and ghouls and stuff that you see in this movie. The 4K does so much to enhance that. Like, that Scream Factory Blu-ray looked really good, but what the 4K and the HDR does for this movie, it's just night and day when you compare it to that Blu-ray. So I thought From Beyond looked excellent, and they added in a brand new documentary on the making of this movie. You got Barbara Crampton, you got Jeffrey Combs talking about this film, so that definitely adds in just a little bit extra there. And excellent packaging here, and I think you can still get the 4K of From Beyond, but you cannot get the slipcover for this movie. It's like way out of print, and it went out very fast, which just tells you the demand of this movie, directed by Stuart Gordon, which I just love. I love everything I've seen from Stuart Gordon so far. Such a great director. But From Beyond is definitely a top 5 release of 2023. Absolutely love this release from Vinegar Syndrome. Now, getting into my number 4. we have a recent watch. This is The Lighthouse. Now, this did come out in the UK. You cannot get it over here in the States. You have to import it. I think there's still some available on Diabolic, on Orbit, or you can get it from the AeroVideo websites, you know, over in the UK. You can import it that way. But what a great release. Like, I hope that you all did not get the A24 Lighthouse 4K, because this one is just so much better. I don't even have that one, and I know it's better because it added in new special features that were not available on that A24 exclusive. And plus, like, how can you can't beat the AeroVideo, like, big box set packaging. Like, the only one that can beat that is Vinegar Syndrome with the VSUs, but you cannot beat this AeroVideo packaging. It's nice, sturdy packaging. I love the artwork right there with the light coming out of Willem Dafoe or Robert Pattinson's eyes. Like, it's a little conflicting on who that actually is right there, but great artwork right here. Absolutely love it. You get a poster, you get lobby cards, you get all kinds of stuff. It's just nice and sturdy. It fits on the shelf properly, unlike that A24 release. And they added in a brand new documentary here, an hour-and-a-half documentary with Robert Eggers talking about the making of this movie, and it's fantastic. I watched the whole thing, and I hadn't revisited this movie since I saw it in the theaters, rewatched it in 4K. The 4K looked incredible, black and white, like I said. This is the newest movie that is on my list, but it looked amazing in 4K. Thought it looked absolutely fantastic. Just the picture quality, the packaging, all the special features, the new special features that they included here, a brand new audio commentary that nobody else has as well. I think there's also a new visual essay. So tons of new features included here. And I just really love this movie now. Like, I didn't love it the first time I saw it, but when I recently watched it, like, I loved it so much. Willem Dafoe, Robert Pattinson, it's like two men's descent into madness. It's like The Shining, honestly. It reminds me a lot of The Shining, but instead of just one man going insane, it's two men going insane on this island with a lighthouse, and it's just excellent. I love this movie so much. Looked great in 4K, great package, and great release from AeroVideo. To be honest, that's the best release that AeroVideo's done this year as far as 4K. That Empire box set is probably their best release overall. Getting into my top three, guys. This was number one when I did it back in March or April, early April, I believe. But Dragon Slayer, this is still a top tier release for me. For the money that you spend on this, $17.99. This is available right now. I'll try to link all these 4Ks down below in the description as well. $17.99 for this 4K. There's 7 new special features here. This movie looks fantastic on 4K. Paramount did such a great job with the restoration of this movie. I had never seen it before. This is a first time watch for me. Really fun fantasy epic film. You got Peter McNichol in this movie in the lead role. And I thought it looked awesome. Like, when you get to the end, like the Dolby Atmos also as well, with the dragon and the breathing, the fire, like that Dolby Atmos sound mix really sounds incredible. Like, my walls and my floor were shaking watching this movie. I had it turned all the way up. So incredible Atmos sound mix. The visual quality is excellent. 7 new special features on a studio release. Like, the studios never do stuff like that. Like, that's like boutique level quality. And I really like the slipcover here. The artwork's fantastic as well. The movie's super fun. So yeah, $17.99. Like, that's why this honestly holds a very high place for me, because like the value that you get in this release for as cheap as it is, like, is just incredible. $17.99. Why can't more studios do that? Boutique labels, like, do that. Like, that's just incredible. So Dragon Slayer on 4K, that's a top 3 release of the year for me. And getting into my top 2, guys, this is where we're going to get, you know, crazy here. But number 2, you know, I had to do it. It's Showgirls. It is Showgirls on 4K from Vinegar Syndrome. And it's not just because of this awesome VSU packaging right here. It's because the movie, oh my God, looks incredible. Like, I think of this movie, it's bad, but it's very entertaining. It's very bad, actually. Me and my wife actually reviewed it on our channel, so there's a quick plug. You can go watch that. I'll try to link that up there somewhere. We did an unboxing of this as well. I did a little bit of a 4K review on there, but we basically just talked about the movie. But the movie's not great, but it's definitely one of the best, like, bad movies of all time, I would say. Very entertaining, and it's very watchable as well. But like, in 4K, guys, I cannot stress to you enough, like, this movie is another movie that was made for 4K. It's set in Las Vegas. There's so many like bright lights and colors all throughout the film, just reflecting off of people's skin. And there's a lot of skin in this movie. There's a lot of skin. There's a lot of sweat as well, which you can see every single bead of sweat. But all of it just looks incredible. Like, when you're, and I'm not basing this off of the nudity, guys. I'm really not. I promise you that I'm not. But like when you're watching this movie and like what Vinegar Syndrome's doing with 4K, guys, like I thought that Arrow Video was the standard when it came to 4K, but like when you watch a really good Vinegar Syndrome restoration, like Freeway, like Roadhouse, like it just blows you away. And this was another one of those. I thought it just looked incredible. I hadn't seen this movie since VHS back in the day. And again, I'm noticing things that I've just never noticed before. And the set design in this movie is spectacular, and just the costumes spectacular with that HDR and that Dolby Vision. It just really, everything just popped in this movie. And I just have to name this one of the best releases of the year. Number 2 of 2023 is Showgirls. Tons of new special features in here as well. Just an all-around great, spectacular release by Vinegar Syndrome. Great packaging. And I know the movie's ridiculous. It really is. But the 4K here is so good. It has to be my number 2 of the year. And getting into my number 1, guys, I've talked about this several times, and it's on sale right now. Barnes & Noble, $25. You can pick this up. Get it right now, guys. You will not regret it. Ridley Scott's Thelma and Louise on 4K. This looks so damn good. I damn near cried when I watched this 4K. I was like, this is why I upgrade these movies. This is why I buy 4K. This is why I'm into this. It's to see these movies in the best possible picture quality. My God, did Thelma and Louise look so great. You're talking about a movie it came out in 1991, and people watch this on VHS, they watch it on cable, they watch it in the theaters, they watch it on DVD, they watch it on Blu-ray. You watch this on 4K, it's like watching a brand new movie that just came out in the theaters. Just what they did with this, and just the landscape of this movie, and you have that desert setting, and just it's almost all outside. It's with that car, what they did with that blue car in the movie. Susan Sarandon, Gina Davis, they just never look better in this 4K restoration. And oh my God, it's just everything about this looked great. The sky with the clouds and the mountains and that desert, the setting, everything looks spectacular in 4K. Just so clean, so crisp, almost no film grain at all. And I'm not a grain hater by any means, but it just looks so clean, so pristine. The HDR, what that did for the colors, and just it all looks so deep. The black levels were just excellent. And just the contrast, everything was just perfect. This was the perfect like 4K restoration to me. I honestly don't know of one that's better than this, to be honest. Thelma and Louise look spectacular on 4K, and that is my number 1 4K release of 2023. I don't know what's going to beat it. Something's got to beat it. It's bound to beat it, but it is a top tier 4K right now, and tons of great special features as well. There's one interview with Ridley Scott in here, so a lot of great special features in this. Criterion did a really great job with that. So there you have it, guys. That's my top 10 4K releases of 2023. There was definitely a lot to get into. I thank you all so much for watching this entire video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below what's your top 5, your top 10, what's your favorite 4K releases of 2023. Let me know that in the comment section below. Turn on those bell notifications and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.